What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Thank you guys for stopping in and joining the squad. Be sure to stick around. I'd love to have you guys here. We're talking a little bit about Austin Matthews and something that Nick Kypreos brought up, a little bit of trade speculation, not to do with Austin Matthews, but potentially what to do if the Maple Leafs were to utilize his cap space on LTIR, long-term injured reserve, if you guys don't know. But if you're new, like I said, like and subscribe. But let's get into what we need to talk about here. So this is coming from Pro Hockey Rumors, but more importantly, this is actually coming from Nick Kypreos. So Nick Kypreos wrote a Nick Kypreos of Sportsnet wrote a column for the Toronto Star, wondering if the Maple Leafs might consider putting Austin Matthews on LTIR later this season if the injury concerns continue. So Matthews hasn't played, but he is playing currently. I'm actually making this video in between periods of the Leaf game right now, and it seems as though that Matthews has continually had these injury troubles that have hampered him for most of the season. Now, this is the thing about Austin Matthews, and I'll come back to me for a quick second here, but he has like almost too much pride on playing, for most of the season and playing through injuries and stuff like that. But he needs to take some rest. And the thing is I know he's missed a bunch of games already this year, but I don't agree with the fact that he's playing through these injuries. And we saw that quote saying where he wasn't sure if he was actually going to properly heal this season. And I'm thinking, okay, like, we're still relatively early in the season. I don't know why you would say something like that and be like, oh yeah, that's completely fine. Like, maybe I won't really heal up for this season, but, hopefully. No, the Maple Leafs need to consider keeping Matthews out of the lineup. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, like Kypreos said, if the Leafs were to place Matthews on LTIR, they would definitely free up a lot of cap space, and it wouldn't exactly be 13.25 because they've got some guys that they would likely bring up and expand the roster a little bit because they'd have a little bit more money to work with. But he's wondering if the Maple Leafs could use that room in the salary cap to chase another star player, similar to what the Lightning did with Kucherov. And I believe they also mentioned another option, but I think it was like Stone with Vegas did that as well. But another thing that he brings up here is that Matthews probably wants to play for Team USA in the Four Nations face-off next month. But to me, if I'm the Maple Leafs, I'm like, look, sure, go play in that tournament. If you get injured, even worse, you're going to look like an idiot. But play for a little bit longer, see how you feel. But if it continues to nag, we're going to be putting you on LTIR and we're going to keep you out until the playoffs. Now, people might be looking at me and being like, dude, you're crazy. But let's take a look at the numbers real quick here. So this year, Matthews has 23 points in 24 games played at the time I'm making this video. Again, this could change any second depending on when I post this. But he hasn't really been his full self. He hasn't been scoring a bunch of goals. He hasn't been, doing everything that he usually does that we're accustomed to. But if you take a look at the cap situation, the Maple Leafs could be pretty okay because you still have guys like Tavares that can play that center role. You can move Holmberg into to a center spot because you're bumping everybody up a spot, essentially. I'd like to keep that third line together, but you are getting really good depth scoring from Matthew Nyes. You're getting good depth scoring from Robertson now. Domi's been chipping in. Tavares is having a hell of a year. The Maple Leafs, if they were to afford to put Matthews on LTIR, it would be this season and now. And maybe, again, they let him play a little bit longer, but that injury continually getting worse to your captain, the guy that's the face of your franchise, who's ultimately going to be the greatest Leaf of all time in a few years, you're going to have to keep this guy on ice and make sure that he stays healthy and then gets into the offseason and gets a chance to actually properly heal it. So that could open up a lot of options for the Leafs. They could make a move to acquire a player that's in the $8 to $12 million range, or get multiple players that are, $5 to $6 million each. And when Matthews comes back in the playoffs and there is no salary cap, now you've got Matthews and two really good talented players, and you'd have to dip into your prospect pool. You'd have to dip into your picks, but the Maple Leafs have some picks. They actually can get some of their picks here, right here. So they have their 2026 first round pick still. They've got a second from Florida. They've got a third from Edmonton. They've got a third in the 2026 draft as well. And then if you dip into your 2027, 2028 drafts, you have all of your picks. They could utilize that. They've got some prospects that they can part with. If you get elite talent, if you get stars, you can go and make those moves. And I know it's kind of like an NHL video game type of trade, but more importantly, in the big picture, to me, it's getting your captain healthy. It's keeping Austin Matthews healthy and making sure that this guy can actually play for you longer than just this season. It's not just about this year, even though it is important. And another thing to bring up is that who knows if this is going to be the last hurrah for this group of Leafs. Are the Leafs going to bring back Marner? Is it even going to be possible? Are they going to bring back Johnny T? Are they going to bring back either of them? And Tavares has been, like I said, he's been fantastic this year. He's been a big reason why the Leafs are playing the way they are. They've been a good team this year. They're kind of hot and cold sometimes, but currently at the time of recording this, they're first in their division. So if there's any time to let Matthews sit out, you watch these standings and you think, okay, they've got a bit of a gap over these wildcard teams, even though why has Tampa only played 35 games? But you've got a bit of a gap. If you can stay in this top three and still be competitive, you're going to be fine. And especially if the Leafs go out there and acquire another couple good players or even one really talented player, they're going to stay in the mix. They've got enough talent to keep themselves there. Anthony Stolarz is going to come back soon, hopefully, knock on wood. He's going to keep the Leafs competitive. Wool's been good. They need a little bit more depth when it comes to goaltending. Murray hasn't been good. But like in terms of like, they need another guy that can come in. Like Hildeby, I think he'll be fine, but I don't want to throw him into the fire. But they can part ways with one of their goalie prospects. They've got a few actually that are not too bad. They're just not NHL ready, of course. But they have options. I want the Maple Leafs to strongly consider this, especially if Matthews keeps saying that the injury is nagging and it's something that's going to bother him. I don't want this guy to be injured long term. I want Austin Matthews to be a guy that's readily available for this team going forward. And if it means that the Leafs have to sit him out until the playoffs, acquire a couple players that can help them right now, that's something that I think the Leafs should consider. That's just a thought I had. And when Nick Kypreos started talking about this and put out an article, I was like, okay, there's people that are thinking the same way as me. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys watching this thinking the exact same way as me as well. So if you agree, put it down in the comments. What do you guys think? I'm going to be making another video after this about some potential trade targets for the Maple Leafs. There's been some talks, especially the Jonathan Toews stuff is a little interesting. I want to talk about that as well. So if you guys are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Welcome back to the Andrew Piluk Hockey channel. We're going to be talking Leafs trade talk, rumors, everything. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.